most exciting sport weekends of the year is over, and we're here to talk about it. It's Nick and Neil. It's the Height Differential. Neil,
What's up?
where'd you watch all the action today?
You know, a little local spot, a local favorite, the Beer Nose 502. We had the Wolfpack was out there. There's about 6-7 of us at the Beer Nose watching. I mean, when you have a day full of Ryder Cup, NFL football, the Major League Baseball playoffs on the line coming down to the last day when the local team, the Cincinnati Reds, are fighting for their playoff lives. I mean, this was one of the wildest and greatest sports days in probably recent memory.
And there was some good news today. The Reds got off to a good start. Home runs from Ellie De La Cruz, TJ Friedel went up 2-0. Lead didn't last too long,
It did.
and the Reds didn't get on the board again. But you can tell I'm rocking the Cincy hat. Things still worked out for them as the Mets lost to the Marlins 4-0,
Yep.
and the Reds are on their way out to LA.
I mean, when you celebrate a playoff berth, you know, you kind of wish you would celebrate it with a win, feel a little bit better about it, but, you know, you'll take it any way you can get it. So glad that the Miami Marlins could take care of business of the Mets. What a collapse that they had in the last 3 months of the season. But thankfully, that goes in the Reds' favor. They take 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee. They did enough. They did what they needed to do, especially against the good Brewers team going on the road and winning 2 out of 3. So you take it any way you can get it, and we're off to LA and see what happens.
Well, and we talked last week about, not throwing Hunter Green. They didn't throw Hunter Green. Singer wasn't great today.
Oof.
But now you're lined up to where you've got Hunter Green going game 1.
Yeah, yes, and it worked. It all worked out. But you would, if the Mets had won today, you look back at it and you say, man, if the Reds had missed it, it's probably because Hunter Green didn't pitch and Terry Francona made a pretty big error when not pitching him Tuesday and Sunday. But it all works out. Hunter Green's ready to go Tuesday night, 9:00 in LA. Lodolo pitched about an inning and a half, 2 innings today, so he should still be good to go for that series as well. So, if the pitching holds up, maybe some good things will happen.
But the pitching's been great all year. It's
Yeah.
just, can they score enough runs to, help out that pitching? And we'll see, because they're going up against a pretty good lineup with LA.
Yeah.
But we talked about the Mets. I mean, in June, they had the best record in baseball. I mean, what a collapse. Lost 7 straight, I think twice, had an 8-game losing streak, was 45-24 on June 2nd, and finished the season 38-55 with that $330, $340 million payroll. I mean, what a collapse from the Mets. And I mean, you're right. We'd be talking totally different about this if the Mets just didn't keep finding ways to lose games.
Yeah, I mean, can't imagine what New York sports radio is going to be like in the next couple of days. But yeah, when you have a $330 million payroll, like you talked about, like you're paying guys like superstars with Soto and Alonso and Lindor and, some of the top names in baseball, and you can't even make a playoffs with that. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. But I don't know what they do. I saw Alonso's opting for free agency. He even mentioned that after the game today. So he's opting for contract. It just seems like the Mets are in a free-for-all, and I don't know what they're going to do in the offseason. Or if they make a managerial change, maybe a GM change. I don't know. Something's got to change, but it's unacceptable if you're a New York Mets fan.
Well, there'll definitely be changes, and I think the manager's probably the first one of those changes. I mean, you've got that explosive lineup. You can't even score a run in a game that decides your season. I mean, I'm not a Mets fan. I think it's hilarious, and what we looked at it, of the teams making the playoffs, they're the only one in the top 7 payrolls not going to the postseason. And I mean, the Reds are ranked 19th, so they're not at the bottom, but it's just spending all that money and can't even get into October.
It's wild, absolutely wild.
And we'll get more into the playoffs on Wednesday. Obviously, they're starting on Tuesday night, but we'll kind of get into a playoff preview when we get back to you on Wednesday night. But the other highlight of this weekend was the Ryder Cup, and a lot that we can talk about with this 3-day event. I mean, such a great start by Europe. The first 2 days looked like it was over, and the run the Americans made today was pretty impressive. It was too much to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in previous pods, just the talent that the Europeans had and how much we thought the Americans were gonna be overmatched. And that sure was the case on Friday and Saturday. I mean, it was just a flat out butt whooping both those days. And everybody thought it was over. I thought it was over. You thought it was over. And then all of a sudden today, the Americans just came to life and they started making putts, making shots. And then, I mean, it almost came down to the end. And it was exciting. It was absolutely exciting.
No, it was fun. Like, you just kept thinking it's impossible, it's impossible, it's impossible. And at the beginning of the day, I mean, there were so many, uh, the word blue on the scoreboard, and Bryson's down 5. It just looked like there was no chance. And then just momentum kept turning, and on, Bryson was making his move on, Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
And then Cam Young makes that putt on 18, JT makes that putt on 18, and you still think it's a long shot, but it kept getting more and more likely that this thing might potentially happen.
And I mean, if it wasn't for, Russell Henley on 18 leaving a birdie putt short, and then, like clinched it when Shane Lowry made a putt about half that distance. But you don't leave that birdie putt short. If that goes in, I mean, it's coming down to those last one or two matches.
Yeah, and I mean, Henley, I criticized his play a lot the first 2 days, was good today. I think he had 6 birdies in his last 11 holes before getting to 18 to make that, a chance to have a red point. But you're right, you make that great shot out of the sand when you go left off the tee
Such a great shot.
to get within 10 to 15 feet, and then you cannot leave that putt short.
No, it's you. I mean, it lost. I mean, it lost it. That's what lost it. So, like you said, an incredible shot out of the bunker when you thought hope was lost. He comes back, fires that shot. If he could have just rolled that in, but I mean, overall, it's not surprising the Europeans won. I mean, you hate to see that it's on the U.S. soil, but Tommy Fleetwood was absolutely fantastic again. Rory was great, and from the American side, I mean, they all were great basically in the singles, but I don't know if the pairings were off, if they didn't mesh, what happened. But I mean, there were some questionable pairings that we talked about, in text, and your boy Griffin not getting as much play as you would have liked to have seen. But even like Scotty Scheffler, I said last week, there's no way Scotty Scheffler's not going to play well. And for the first 2 days, he did not. I mean, it was awful. I mean, everybody was awful. But, you dig yourself a hole that deep, it's tough to climb out of.
Yeah, and there's so much to unpack with this whole thing this weekend. USA to this today, they had 8.5 points, which is the most ever from a team on Sunday. They needed, what, 9.5 to win, so I mean, they got close. And it's just the big difference was that the Euros great players were great. Rory, and Tommy were 10-1-1 going into today. Bryson and Scotty were 1-8 going into today. Going into today, Scotty trailed 54 of like 67 holes. And you're right, we never see Scotty struggle. And he won today when it was him by himself, but in the team competition, he didn't get a point.
No, he was 0-4. Not even a half a point. 0-4.
Yeah. So, I mean, we said this last week. If Scotty doesn't play well, I don't see how USA has a chance, just because just looking at the two rosters, to me, it was the Europeans clearly have a better team. And I couldn't believe they were the positive on the betting apps, and the first 2 days proved that I was right. But man, it almost turned around today.
Yeah, no, it would have been an unbelievable comeback. But how about your boy Cam Young and the way he played?
No, he
I mean,
played.
he was the bright spot for Team USA as a rookie. Played absolutely fantastic. Got 3 points. He was 3-1 on the weekend. I thought he was great, but outside of him, I mean, there was really nobody else. I mean, Xander was 3-1 on the weekend as well. But outside of those two guys, that was about it.
Yeah, Xander and Cam, you're right, leading the way with 3 points each. I didn't think Xander played that well all week, and then he just absolutely put it on John Rahm, which John
Yeah,
Rahm had been amazing the first 2 days. So, I mean, it's gotta be mentally draining when you've got all those fans on you, and, you're making shot after shot. You're playing 36 holes the first 2 days, and you wonder if maybe that got to Rahm a little bit.
yeah, probably.
But, Fleetwood was just a monster. I know he lost today to JT, but could be another, like, just mental fatigue, but had 4 points in the tournament, meaning he won all of his team matches, Rory and Hatton had 3.5 each. So it's just at the top they were better than the USA, and that's why they're bringing home back-to-back Ryder Cups.
Yeah, no, that is the story. The top players for the Euros were definitely better than our top, and yeah, that's all all you can say about it. I mean, there's nothing else to be said. You can't dig yourself a hole in team play and expect to dig out of it when you need a miraculous comeback. But 2 more years we got to wait for some more excitement. Going to you, where are they going? Ireland maybe next.
They're going to Ireland.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait another 2 years to try to get them back. And playing over in Europe's never easy.
No, it's not gonna be easy, and, that's why you gotta take advantage of when you've got them on your home turf, and I said this to you guys earlier today, the run they made today, where they were just so dominant in singles, it kinda puts the onus even more on Keegan, I think, with some of the pairings that he put out, especially on Saturday.
Yeah. No, there were some questionable pairings, and like you said, I'm with you on Griffin. I would have liked to seen him play a few more team matches. What do you only play, what, 2 on the weekend or 2 all
Oh,
weekend?
he played 1 on Friday, and then he played today.
Then yeah, so 2 for the entire Ryder Cup,
Yeah.
2 matches. And I think he was probably one of the better players that he probably needed to play more. But I don't know.
I just don't know how you run Harris English and Colin back out there again on Saturday morning after they just got completely waxed. And you run it out there and it's the same exact result. And on Friday, JJ Spawn was one of our better players. You saw how good Cam Young was playing after he didn't open the session on Thursday. And he plays well on Friday morning. He played well on Friday afternoon, and then he's moved into the Saturday morning pairing. JJ Spawn, I felt like should have gotten played on Saturday morning, and that could have changed some things. I just I don't know how you run Harris English and Colin back out there again, and I don't know how you run Scotty back there with Henley again after they had lost. I would have
Yeah,
tried something else
I would have
there
tried something
too.
else. I agree with you there. I would have tried something else as well.
And I don't know, Sam Burns maybe playing with Scotty instead of Henley, or I don't know. It's a hard job. I'm not sitting there saying it's not, but when I saw those pairings on Friday night going into Saturday morning, I was kind of besides myself with some of the decisions. And when you make a run like you did today, look what they were 6, they were 2-6 in foursomes. And I think the decisions Keegan Bradley made played a big role in that.
So is this your official bid? Are you trying to become Team USA captain for 2028 or 2027? Is this your is this
Yeah,
your is this
I
your
guess.
spiel?
I think my chances are probably slim. Um, I've I've broke 80 a couple times, but that I had to play really well to do that and make some putts. I don't think I'm gonna be the
Who
new captain.
who would you like to see as captain in 2027? Is this where we try to finally get Tiger Woods to commit and become a team captain?
I mean, his Ryder Cup numbers are not very good, surprisingly.
That's true.
But no, I mean, if you can get Tiger as the captain, you 100% do. I look, dude, and I don't want to dog Keegan too much because I know how hard this is, and I think we were up against it anyways, just because of the talent. We didn't have a guys coming in. We had several guys that weren't coming in great form, but and look, dude, it's such a bad luck thing for Keegan too. Him being left off 2 years ago, and then this is the way that they kind of make up for it. And then he ends up playing so well where he probably should have been on the team, but
Yeah,
because he's the captain, he's not on the team.
yeah,
He's had a lot of heartbreak with this Ryder Cup,
yeah,
and this also being in his backyard where he played at St. John's,
yeah.
he had a lot of pressure on him. So I know it's hard, but I think those Saturday morning pairings are a little different. Maybe the outcome could have been different.
Yeah, yeah, and, luckily, it did not come down to that bogus phantom half a point that the Euros got because Victor Hovland decided he wanted to quit. So, hey, you quit, you get a half a point, and I swear, if it would've come down to that, there would've been some riots.
Well, I don't think Victor Hovland decided he wanted to
I
quit.
think he decided.
That's and I'll get into that, but that's another thing that's different about this when it's the USA against, other countries. Like, we become so familiar with these guys because we watch them play every week.
Yeah,
They all are Americans.
yeah.
Like, now they're all American citizens. It's just, yeah, you want USA to win, but you don't have the hatred, I feel like, for these guys that you do for other world competitions.
No, there's no like you said, at the Masters, I was cheering for Rory, I wanted him to get
Yeah.
his grand slam, so I like, watching that, like, I like Rory. I think he's a great player. He's stuck up for the PGA Tour against Liv, and that whole thing. So, I mean, I like Rory, but when it comes down to these 3 days twice a year, it's they talk their trash. The Americans, we talk our trash, and it's get it on. And then next week we're all back together playing again, probably somewhere in Hawaii or something. Like we're all friends again, and it's all fun and games for 3 days. It's intense. There's a lot of emotions. You saw Shane Lowry and how much it meant to him when he was in tears after his win today. So I mean, it means a lot to these guys. So the emotions are real. But after this week, we're all back to being friends again.
But I went on a little rant there because it is so different because you are so familiar with these guys. But you were talking about that envelope rule. When Victor comes down with this neck injury, decides he can't go. Like, I didn't know this was a rule. It's been a rule since 1979. It's been used twice, once by the Euros, once by the Team USA, and that was, I think, back in 1991, 1993. But basically, both captains put a name in an envelope, and if it just so happens that a player from the other team gets hurt or gets sick or can't play for any reason, you pull that name out of the envelope from the other team and you tie that match, and they both get a half point. When you only need 2.5 to win the damn thing, get you a little, get you 20% of
Just
the
like
point closer.
I understand, somebody if Victor withdraws, somebody from the American team obviously has to withdraw because now you're at odd numbers. But you can't give them a half a point for quitting. You can't do like I don't understand like how you reward somebody for quitting for forfeiting. He forfeited. Let's just be honest. It was a forfeit. He might be hurt and he has a legitimate reason, but it's a forfeit. Never seen you get credit for a forfeit.
So what do you do?
I think moving forward, you need to have an alternate.
Commissioner Roar, what do you do?
You need to have an alternate. So you've got your 12 guys, you have a 13th just in case it's on site. That if somebody can't go, you put them in there. Maybe you have two alternates. I don't know in case something else happens. Or we talked about this today as well. The captain should fill in. Put Luke Donald in
Or
there.
one of his assistant captains.
Or an assistant cap. I mean, if Jose Maria Olazabal wants to play and get his old butt in there, he can play. But I mean, the captain should play or a vice captain. Somebody should step up and take that spot. So I mean, honestly, moving forward, they need to have an alternate, a 13th guy on site that can just fill in. But if you don't have that, somebody else needs to step up and play.
Yeah, I think alternate is probably your best option. It would be cool if the captain had to go out there and play, but I don't know how how feasible that actually is. I mean, it would be kinda cool, but also, kinda disappointing, I guess, to be that 13 guy where you don't think you're gonna play, you're just there and ready just in case. I mean, it eliminates this situation. After the when Keegan was doing the press, he was asked about this. I mean, he straight up said, "This rule's gotta change." And Luke Donald comes on and, I mean, they won, right? So he's basically saying, "Look, this has been the rules since 1979. It's worked in y'all's favor, it's worked in ours favor. But we signed a contract and we all knew that this is how it was gonna go." So, but I just think the rule kinda sucks.
It
And
definitely.
it makes most sense. I think your first option, having an alternate and just being cool to be a part of the team even though you're probably not gonna play.
Yeah. I mean, you play a practice round with these guys. And there's things that an alternate could do to help the team. I mean, you can help the cap if you're not playing. Help the captain do whatever he needs, or helps the guys get ready. Be a practice partner with them. Something. Like watch them, and if you see something that that could help them out throughout their matches, be that person. Be a voice in that room, in
You're
that locker room.
Yeah, you're just kind of another assistant captain, it's just
Yeah.
that you might play.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be shocked if this rule is in effect 2 years when they're playing in Ireland.
I guarantee you, if if this half a point was the reason that the Euros won today, there would be a rule change. There would absolutely be a rule
Well,
change.
I mean, it got really close to it.
I know. I was hoping it.
They and look, when you only need 14 to retain it because you're the defending champion and you already have 11.5, that gets you to 12. I mean, you're getting closer to your goal without even doing anything.
Yeah,
And
it's
I just
ridiculous.
yeah.
Trash.
So the other thing that they were talking about after the Ryder Cup, other than all the decisions and the result, were the fans and the heckles. And specifically, this question was focused on Rory McIlroy. If you're a Euro and you're playing in this environment,
Yeah.
how do you feel about it?
I mean, the Europeans are probably used to their like, when the Ryder Cup's in Europe, they're used to their fans and the way they do things. Like, we talked about this going back to the tennis argument, with the US Open and how, it's not Wimbledon, it's not, your high class, we're all polite and all that out here. Like the American fans are going to get a little rowdy. They're going to heckle you, and there's probably some things that they said and did that 100% would cross the line in the game of golf. But it's nothing new. I mean, Rory's played in Ryder Cups in the U.S. now for what's probably his third or fourth one that's been played in the U.S. So he's used to it. He should know how it goes over here. I mean, is it right? No, there's some probably, like I said, some things that cross the line, but it's not unexpected. It's what we do.
Well, Rory was not very happy about it, and,
Shocker. He's never happy.
we saw him react to it yesterday, where he told a fan to shut up
Yeah.
after, they had told them that the sand trap looks very inviting, and you can hear this all on the audio, on the broadcast.
Yeah.
But he was asked about that in the presser, and, like, he talked about it kinda being over the top a little bit, and, I mean, there's probably some things said that probably shouldn't be said, there's no doubt that happens at a lot of sporting events,
Mhm.
but they also threw a beer at his wife.
Oh, no, I didn't see that part.
Yeah,
Alright.
so
You can't be doing that. Yeah, I
he
can't.
wasn't very happy about that,
Yeah,
and so, he's got reason to be upset, I think that was mainly what he was upset about,
yeah.
but he clearly wasn't happy about them yelling at him the whole time either, and dude, like we just talked about, they're so used to being cheered over here, this is so different, like, normally, all these fans that are booing him and telling him to hit it in the sand or hit it in the water are the same ones that are cheering for him to win the Masters.
No, I mean, you can't be throwing beers at people's wives and all that, like, that's crossed the line. But, I mean, golf is one of those unique sports where, you and the athlete are within feet of each other. You're not sitting in the stands, there's no barrier. I mean, there's a thin line rope, basically, that's between you and them. They're gonna hear everything you say, you're gonna hear everything they say. It's one of the one of the best parts about golf, being a spectator sport, like, being on the grounds is, these guys that you see on TV and these superstars, you're within feet of them. So, with that comes some things that happen, like you said, like, some things that happen, this weekend. Like, it comes with the territory, right or wrong, but it is one of the cool, unique things about golf that I really do enjoy.
But, and also people compare golf to other sports like football and baseball and basketball and talk about people are heckling them all the time and they're screaming and yelling. But the difference is that they're not right on top of them like they are in golf. And they're not, it's just not a comparable thing. Eh, like that's for the TGL and we'll watch that this winter. But no, and then he kinda Rory brought it on, like, our and when we're in Ireland in 2 years, we'll be a lot more respectful,
Yeah, of course.
and
Yeah, that's
instead of
typical Rory. That's typical.
and then he goes for the typical, if you're a fan of the USA, why wouldn't you just cheer your guys instead of heckling the other
Oh,
guys?
yeah, see,
And we're not gonna do that when we're in Ireland, so
he needs to shut up about
but dude, let's not throw beers at people.
that's crossing the line. We all agree, like, that's a little too far. But come on, man. What I saw was the reporter he asked I think a reporter asked him today about an interaction he had with the fan. Like, a fan told him he sucked, and he turned around and he goes, "No, I'm really effing good," or something like that. And he goes, "You are good." He goes, "Oh, I know. I know. I am really good." It's like, if you let stuff like that or hit it in the sand, like, if that's what's causing you to get all upset, like, we need to grow up a little bit. We need to put our big boy pants a little bit, tighten them up. Like, come on.
Is he kind of embracing the villain role
Yeah,
a little bit?
yes, he does it
Yeah.
every single Ryder Cup. It was the same 2 years ago when he and was it Bones, the caddy that got into it, at the last Ryder Cup in the parking garage or whatever. He absolutely embraces the villain role during these times. He loves it. Shane Lowry's the same way. Like, they're all like they all do it every year or every 2 years. It's nothing new. He embraces it.
Well, he was asked about, "Did you really say that? And do you believe it?" In the presser, and he's like, "Yeah, I am really good."
Yeah, yeah. That's
And you should be confident. Like, you're the number 2 player in the world for a reason, and you've been that high for over 10 years now. Like, you should be that confident, but there's no doubt that he enjoys embracing that villain role, and he'll do it again here in 2 years, but all the Americans will forget it real quick and cheer for him in the spring.
of course.
So, no, it was just disappointing today going into it. You look forward to this event every 2 years, and then you're down by 8 going into the final, but they made a run at it, and it was fun to watch all day today.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you got that's going on, NFL football's going on, Major League Baseball's going on, I'm trying to watch 3 different screens at one time. So it was a lot, but it was a lot of fun.
It was, and we'll look forward to doing this again in 2 years and see if the USA can turn the table and win in European soil.
We're gonna have to get better, that's for sure.
At Grittily, we believe grit isn't just a word, it's a way of life. It's perseverance, resilience, courage, passion, and strength. That's why our wallets and winning bands are built to last, just like you. Right now, honor your grit and save 25% with promo code HD at checkout. Backed for life. That's the Grittily guarantee. Grittily, embrace your grit.
We talked about on Wednesday all the college football matches on Saturday, and all the big ones, they kind of lived up to the hype.
Absolutely great, great games on Saturday or yesterday. Two that really stood out to me. One, Oregon going into Happy Valley in the whiteout, getting the win in overtime. An absolutely fantastic game. Ended with that interception of Aller in overtime. Big win for Oregon. Tough for James Franklin as he's trying to shake that. Can he win the big, top 10 matchup?
He
And
cannot.
no, he still can't. But that was huge. But also the Alabama Crimson Tide, who everybody after week 1, that loss against Florida State, was ready to bury them and ready to get rid of the head coach. They come into Georgia. Georgia had a 33-game home winning streak, and then they beat them. I mean, they just beat them. Alabama off the map, back into the national title conversation. Questions now about Georgia. Like, how good are they? So, I mean, there's this national title race and this playoff race just seems absolutely wide open. I mean, LSU losing to Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's daughter's boyfriend coming up on the short end of the stick of that matchup. So it's just wide open. The SEC just proved that it's, once again, a juggernaut of a conference. Everybody's good. So I don't know. But Oregon and Alabama, to me, are the two big winners of the weekend.
I don't know if everybody's good. I don't know if you watched Kentucky play last night, but everybody's not good. But there's a lot of really good teams at the top of the SEC, and yeah, I mean, Caleb DeBoer at Alabama, his seat got a lot less hot after going in and to Georgia and getting that win. Alabama's 10-1 now in their last 11 games against Georgia, and Kirby Smart, he's 1-7 against Alabama. So this is kind of what we've seen with these two programs over the last 10 years, and obviously the majority of that's Nick Saban, but now Caleb DeBoer comes in and takes advantage of it. But yeah, huge win for Alabama. Ty Simpson was really good, and it's just, you're right. It puts Alabama back in the national championship conversation when we didn't think that was going to be a thing at the beginning of the year. And you talked about the Oregon win over Penn State. I mean, what was that game? 3-3 in the third quarter. There just wasn't a lot of scoring early on in that game, and then Oregon goes up 17-3, and you look like it's over because Drew Alar is just not playing very good, and they haven't moved the ball. But then they go down, score twice, and force OT, and Oregon overcomes, everything in overtime. I mean, Dante Moore is just better than Drew Alar. I mean, that was a big part of the reason why Oregon won that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you talked about the Ole Miss win over LSU. Yeah, I mean, the big story, was Lane Kiffin's daughter and the LSU linebacker when they announced that they were seeing each other the week of the game. But big win for Ole Miss, man. And I will say this: Trinidad Chambliss, who came in when their starting quarterback was hurt in the Kentucky game, now has played 3 games and has 300 plus passing yards and 50 rushing yards in all 3 starts. I don't know who the Heisman Trophy candidates really are right now. They talked about Mendoza at Indiana, but you've done that in 3 straight games. Even though you didn't enter the season as a starter, you're probably on that list.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely. Like you said, I don't think that true Heisman front runner, like there was last year with Travis Hunter. It's a wide open race.
Yeah, and you look at that game, and LSU's just, their offense just is why
Once
they're
again.
losing games.
Yeah,
And
it happened again.
yeah, and Nussmeier just does not look great, but they're not running the ball either. They scored less than 20 points for the third time this season. Eh, I get their defense is really good, but when teams move the ball like Ole Miss did, LSU's just gonna have a hard time winning those games.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Another big winner of the weekend was the Virginia Cavaliers. How about them? Coming out of the gates hot, taking a 14-0 lead on Florida State. Florida State giving it right back to them on 2 straight turnovers. Florida State comes back and takes the lead. They go tooth and nail, and Virginia comes out with the win. And how about the field storm afterward, where people are saying it's probably the fastest field storm in college football history?
Yeah, I don't know how the Virginia corner and the Florida State wide receiver didn't get hurt. I mean, they're both on the ground in the end zone. The ball had just fell, and they're on top of them in 5 seconds. And I'm all for field storms, court storms. Like, fans should be able to celebrate big wins over, big wins like that, but we can't be letting people get hurt, and I don't know how they didn't, because several people had to just run over straight over top.
I mean, yeah, there was no barrier. I mean, it was the student section that's on that hill. I mean, there is no barrier. It was a few, yellow shirt security people, but there was no way they were stopping the thousands of students from getting on that field. And like you said, as soon as the ball hit the ground, these students were running over these players. I mean, as you said, I don't understand how nobody got hurt. Thankfully, they didn't. But something's got to change there. You can't be having that.
Yeah, and, I mean, I think Virginia's probably one of the surprise teams, though, early on in the year, and now they go to an undefeated Louisville team on Saturday, so it should be a good one.
Virginia is now ranked in the AP top 25. So it will be a ranked Virginia Cavaliers team coming into L&N Stadium on Saturday at 3:30. Should be a good one.
Yeah, I guess the other ACC team that we gotta talk about is Georgia Tech, who struggled most of the game against Wake, gets a field goal at the buzzer to force overtime. Haynes King scores on a sneak, and then Wake goes for 2, but doesn't get it, and Georgia Tech remains undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a surprise. You'd expect the way that Georgia Tech's been playing that they would, go into Winston-Salem and get a pretty easy win there. But, just the way college football is, like they came back from a 17-point deficit. Louisville came back from a 17-point deficit at Pitt. And there was one other team, I think, this weekend that came back from a 17-point deficit. So, you got to come ready to play every week. Otherwise, you could get upset, just like Florida State found out. So Georgia Tech lucky that didn't happen to them. Their schedule is favorable the rest of the year in the ACC. So, hopefully that's a wake-up call for them, but they got to come ready to play.
Yeah, I guess we can close with IU squeaking out a win at Iowa. They remind me of the Browns of college football. They always kind of muck things up, but Mendoza finds Surratt late to win that game 20-13. Ohio State offense continues to just do enough, but their defense is really good as they roll in Washington. So they went out west and won 24-6, and it's just. And then Illinois recovered from that loss to Indiana last week and won at the buzzer against USC. So Brent Bielema has got that. Illinois is their 5th ranked win in the last 2 years, which is tied for the 4th most in FBS. I don't think a lot of people would know that.
No, you don't. You always know Illinois is good, but you don't expect them to be that good. But he's got them playing good ball. He's got them rolling. So as you said, I don't think a lot of people know that, but they are a good football team.
Yeah, and also when you go look at Indiana, it shows that they can win games multiple ways, right?
Yeah,
Their offense just goes off last week, and then this week they had 13 points most of the way, and then just had that late touchdown to sneak it out after the missed field goal attempt from Iowa helped them out too.
Yeah, and that's just the way Iowa plays football. Like you said, you muck it up. Their offense has never been historically great. They win these low-scoring, boring type of football games, but Indiana did just enough to get that victory. And how about the last play of the game where it was a 40-yard safety where Mendoza just took the ball and ran backwards?
Ran the clock
3
out.
seconds left instead of just
How much time was left at the beginning of that play? Do you remember?
3 seconds. And instead of just, maybe going down at the 10-yard line, nope, he took it to the house. Negative 40-yard run for a safety, and Indiana still wins it by 5.
That's like something you would do on a video game, but you don't see it in real life.
Yeah. No, I mean, you could have just gone down at the 1-yard line, but I mean, I don't know if people live line bet that game, if that had some implications on it, but I'm sure it did somewhere.
Yeah. And Arkansas just completely manhandled by Notre Dame after the game. Sam Pittman is fired. I bet you don't know who's the interim head coach in Arkansas.
I have a feeling it's a familiar face that's back down there. Is that true?
It is. It is. So he gets a second chance in Louisville after being an idiot. And now he gets a second chance at Arkansas after being an idiot.
Yeah, I I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like, I think the guy can coach football. I mean, I'm not a Bobby Petrino hater by any means. Like, I think he can coach football. It's a tough situation down there in Arkansas right now because they're just not very good. So, I mean, I think he probably finishes the season and they go looking for somebody else. But maybe he can pull it together here in the last couple games. His tenure last time we saw him as a Power 5 head coach or Power 4 head coach was when he was here at Louisville, and it did not end well for him here, unfortunately. But he's getting once again another second chance. Hopefully, he makes the best of it.
Which is wild. It's just wild to me, especially the way it went down in Arkansas. It makes it just even more wild. But here's what's going to happen. They're going to recover. They're going to win. They're going to go undefeated the rest of the year, and then the Falcons are going to hire him.
Get second chances at the Falcons too, and then when that doesn't work, is he going back to Western Kentucky in about 6 years?
That's the only one he hasn't been back to after he goes to the Falcons. So Bobby Petrino back in with Arkansas, which is not something I thought I was going to see when I woke up this morning.
No.
Well, the packed NFL schedule today, what game stuck out to you?
I mean, the NFL right now is just a crapshoot to me. Like the Buffalo Bills are about the only consistent team that I see right now that's just winning games. But then you have the LA Chargers, who were playing really, really good football, one of the undefeated teams that were left. They go into New York with Jackson Dart's first start and lose that game. Didn't see that coming. The Ravens absolutely getting manhandled by the Kansas City Chiefs today. Did not see that happening. The Jaguars, the Jacksonville Jaguars going out west to San Francisco and getting a 26-21 victory there. And then, like the Falcons, the lifeless Falcons last week, who just got their doors blown off by the Carolina Panthers, beat a pretty good Washington Commanders team. I know they didn't have Jaden Daniels, but, like that.
Mariota's been good.
I mean, the Commanders are good, and you have a Falcons team that got their doors blown off last week by a bad Panthers team come in and they win that game at home against the Commanders. So the NFL to me right now just doesn't make any sense whatsoever except for the Buffalo Bills. But it's an absolute crapshoot to me right now. It's wild.
Well, I think Philly's pretty good too.
Yeah.
They won today, 31-25. We're up a ton, and then Baker and the Bucks, made a comeback and had a chance several times late in the game. Baker threw a pick late, and I think the Eagles are really good. Did you see, there's been so much talk about the tush push.
Mm-hmm.
They ran a fake tush push today.
I did not see that.
And Saquon went 15 yards for the
about that. They handed it off instead?
Yeah. And
then
it worked to absolute perfection.
What, did he bounce it to the outside instead of going up the
he bounced it to the and wasn't even anybody even close.
Smart. Very smart of them.
So,
yeah.
They now have the fake tush push that you have to worry about. And the Colts today lost their first game. Daniel Jones was still pretty good. I just think Matthew Stafford was a little better, and you had Adonai Mitchell who fumbles at the goal line after a 70-yard completion, something close to that.
Yep.
I mean, how we see this every year.
Don't get it.
Where and the play he made was incredible. The catch and then the spin off of the tackle to take it to the house. But how do guys keep doing this where they're letting the ball go before they cross the goal line?
I don't understand how it still happens. I mean, if you're Mitchell, like, you've seen this happen before, and if you're a wide receiver in the NFL, you see this happen before, and you have to think to yourself, I'm not going to be that guy. Like, that's not going to happen to me. I know I'm not. And then you do it. Like, you just take the ball through the back of the end zone, tuck it under the arm, run it past the goal line, drop it, spike it, whatever you want to do, but make sure you do it when you're out of the back of the end zone, because you cost your team 7 points right there, and they lost by 7. I mean, the Colts were up for a decent amount of that game. They were up I think, early in the fourth quarter, and then, they lost by 7, and that's a huge reason why. I mean, that's 7 points you don't have. You lose by 7. Like, you're the reason, my guy.
He was the reason twice. I mean, Taylor bumped that touchdown run into the end zone, and it was called back because of a hold, and it was him on that too.
Yep.
So, I mean, they probably got a little lucky with their win over the Broncos at home a couple weeks ago, but they cost themselves with some plays that really hurt them by one player for the most part. And then I think Stafford found Tutu Atwell for a big touchdown score to win that game. So
88 yards, I believe that one was. Yeah,
yeah.
big one.
So, but I mean, I think overall you're still really happy with the way Daniel Jones is playing. I mean, people in the crowd in LA are dressed up like Indiana Jones now. I mean, how things have
Embrace it.
changed with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, embrace it.
Uh, you talked about the Jags going on the road and beating the Niners. I mean, the Jaguars are 3-1, and their only loss is the Cincinnati. They lead the league with 13 takeaways. It's their best start since they're 3-1 for the first time since 2018. I mean, you got to be really happy with the job Liam Coleman has done in his first month on the job.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely surprising, but you said they're 3-1. You go out west, beat what I consider a pretty good San Francisco 49ers team, especially when you're going cross country, and getting that dub. I mean, you've already taken care of your in division rivals, the Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans. So, 3 big wins there. They haven't played the Colts yet, so those are going to be two really tough games and 2 good games to watch coming down later in the season, because I think those 2 teams are obviously the front runners in that division with the way they're playing. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, under, like you said, rookie head coach Liam Cohen, so far I think is probably the surprise of the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Colts are there too. Like, there's several surprises, but they're definitely one of them. You know, one game that we didn't talk about today is a team that got off the deck that hadn't won a game, the Texans, who just put it on the Tennessee Titans 26-0. I mean, are the Titans so well, first off, Cam Ward after the game is quoted as saying, "If we keep it a buck, we ass.
I don't
We
even know
ass."
what that means, but it sounds like it's an accurate statement.
Yeah, they're not very good.
Yeah, I think that's probably what he was getting to. I'm not up on that lingo, of the cool lingo of these days, but I think that's ultimately what his statement was.
I know what the "we ass" part means.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if we keep it a buck. You know what that means?
I don't.
I have to go to
We
Urban
need
Dictionary.
somebody
I have to
we need somebody much younger
crack
and
up
hipper.
have to, like, crack open the Urban Dictionary on the computer, try to look that one up.
I mean, I gotta go to Harper and Bennett to figure out what 6'7" means, and they don't even know. They just like
I
to
don't
say
think
it.
anybody knows what that means. But, how about you wanna talk about my guy, Michael Penix in the Atlanta Falcons today? What's your thoughts on that after, like I said, getting their doors blown off last week with Penix going for over 302 tutties today?
Well, I was talking about how bad he was last week, and you got to play Kirk Cousins, and it just showed you. I mean, you talk about how crazy it is, right? Some of the results we don't know who's good. It's a week to week league, man. Like matchups and just the way you're playing that day, you just never know what you're gonna get, and that's why the ratings for the NFL are as good as they are. Because I mean, it's the best reality TV that there is, and
Mhm.
just because the games are so unpredictable. I mean, we talked about how bad the Titans are. Like, if you would have told me who's the other worst team in football, I would have told you the Saints, and they end up getting beat double digits, but in Buffalo. But I mean, they were in that game late, and they had a touchdown call back where they eventually were only able to get 3. But the Saints played that game close, and that's 2 weeks in a row where the Bills have struggled against teams that we don't think are that good, but they figured out a way to win.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it's an unpredictable league. Like I said, the Saints, I'm with you. I would have said that they're probably the 2nd worst team as well, and, they showed some heart today in Buffalo. Like you said, they were in that game late. But then, like, another team like the like the Minnesota Vikings last week beat our Cincinnati Bengals by 40, absolutely destroy us, and they go to Ireland, and they were down that whole game. And they
And
lose
then they almost come back and win. Like,
back and win it. Yeah, like, so, like,
you don't.
one week you win by 40, the next week you're down 2 touchdowns and you end up losing the game by a touchdown, but it's such an unpredictable week to week thing.
Well, and like you had talked about this, and I really hadn't rehashed it yet, but the Giants game today, who would have ever expected them to go in and beat the 3-0 Chargers with Jackson Dart making his first start? Nobody would have predicted that. And they went straight down the field and scored on their first drive. It was the first person since like 2000 or whatever year Mahomes' rookie year was to go down and score on your first drive, a drive of 80 yards or more. I talked about how much I thought Justin Herbert was just playing unbelievable the first 3 weeks, and then he throws 3 picks today. So, and he didn't look good the whole game. Like, you just don't know what you're gonna get, and maybe that's a good thing for the Bengals tomorrow night, because as bad as you looked last Sunday, maybe you can flip the switch and look that good on Monday night.
Can only hope. I mean, if you're the Miami Dolphins, you're thinking the same thing. The Dolphins had looked like absolute trash for the first 3 weeks. And, they got a big Monday night game tomorrow night, so maybe they can flip the script. So if you're the Bengals and the Dolphins, you're looking around the league and you're like, you can beat anybody. Like, anybody can beat anybody, it seems like. So
That Jets-Dolphins game, that's looking good for a Monday nighter.
Dolphins, I think, bringing out the black unis. Is that what I saw this week?
Are they?
I think it's like an all black uniform combination. Yeah. So
What the Dolphins need to do is just go back to the old uniforms
the infinite
with the
helmet.
dolphin with the helmet on it,
Yeah.
and change your teal, whatever that color is, back to what it used to be.
Bring,
Because
bring back Dan Marino.
well, I don't think they're gonna do that,
He's
but
not
you can
welcome.
bring back his uniform.
He could be ready.
You can bring back his uniform,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'm excited to see what the Bengals do tomorrow night on the road. They've had some success on the road on Monday night the last couple of years. Jake Browning, his first ever win was against the Jaguars on Monday night. So he's had success on Monday night in the past. We've talked about this. It's a broken record. They've got to figure out a way to run the football, and if it's going to be hard to do it against a formidable Denver defense.
Yeah. Nope. We talked about what we wanted to see this week from the Bengals, and it's just the improvement of the offense. I mean, the offense has to just be better. As you said, running the football, but just getting the ball to your playmakers. You have to find a way to get T involved, Jamar involved, get them the ball anyhow you can. And usually good things when those guys touch the ball, good things happen. So, got to find a way.
If you can just figure out a way to win, you get to 3-1. The Steelers are also 3-1, but they haven't looked like world beaters at all. And Baltimore is now 1-3 with a banged up defense that is just not very good. Lamar left the game with a hamstring injury. You know how tough those can be sometimes. Now, he might have played if the game was closer, so it might not be as bad as, normally when you come out of a game. But, I mean, I do think people in Baltimore are freaking out a little bit, and this is a team 4 weeks ago in week 1 where I'm watching the game, and I'm like, I don't know how anybody's gonna beat them. They end up losing that game, and now they're 1-3 a month later.
And haven't looked good the last 2 weeks either. I mean, they got absolutely manhandled today, and even against Detroit, they were down pretty big in that Detroit game before coming back. I think only losing by a score. But like the last 2 weeks, they've got to get some things figured out.
They got to. I'm not real sure I want them to, but
No, they can. I mean, they can be garbage the rest of the year if they want. They can get if they finish the season. What is it, 1-16? It won't hurt my feelings.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, they came into this week with the most points in the league, and they were 1-2. So they're still up top. They're still one of the better scoring teams in the league after putting up 20. But the score today was 37-20, and it wasn't that close.
They gave up what over 40 or something, close to 40 to the Lions last week. Their defense has got some issues.
Well, it's 2 weeks in a row too that it's just been snooze fests for Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, and we played a big role in that last week. The Bengals did, but another one 2 weeks in a row with the A crew just not getting them.
Did they at least let them finish their broadcast this week?
That they did finish the broadcast.
That's good. They didn't have to cut out early at halftime and catch an early flight home.
They did not. And I guess to close, we talked at the beginning of the show that we talk about this on Wednesday, but I started thinking about it. There'd already be a bunch of games already played in the wild card round, so we kind of got to talk about this now. Let's make our postseason predictions.
Okay.
And I guess you want to start with American League?
Yeah.
You got the Tigers and the Guardians. The Tigers limp into the postseason, give up a 15.5 game lead in the AL Central. The Guardians come in and take it, the most games ever made up to win a division. And now they're playing in the best of 3. Who you got?
I mean, you got to ride the hot wave and go with the Guardians in this one, don't you? I mean, the Tigers have just collapsed. Guardians have been playing good baseball. I think they sold a couple dudes at the trade deadline, thinking they weren't even going to be in it. And then now here you are as a division champion. So they will be hosting those 3 games, that best of 3 series in Cleveland. They just played the Tigers in Cleveland and won that series, last week. So I think you got to ride the wave and go with the Guardians.
No doubt. And the Tigers' collapse is just as bad as the Mets. Yeah, but they just were able to squeak in. But yeah, you got to go the Guardians there. And then the other wild card matchup, it's got ESPN just absolutely giddy as Boston goes to the Yankees.
I think you gotta go with the Yankees just being in New York. They went through a little rough stretch midway through the season. They've kind of come out of that. They took the division down to the wire today. They were tied with the Blue Jays. They both won, so I think they both end up finished tied for the division. But the Blue Jays win it based on a tiebreaker. So Yankees are playing better baseball than they were about a month or two ago. Being in New York, I think you got to go with the New York Yankees.
Yeah, just these teams play each other so much, and they're so familiar with each other. You just never know what's going to happen. Being at home, I think, is an advantage. The Red Sox are playing better ball at the end of the year. Um, I don't know who's going to win that series, but I guess you just go Yankees because they're at home.
Yeah, I would agree.
And then we'll save your best for last. The Padres going to the Cubbies.
As much as I hate the Chicago Cubs, and as much as the Reds just put it on them, that 4-game series last weekend, I think the Cubs coming off a huge, not a huge sweep, but they took care of the Cardinals and beat them pretty good over the weekend. Cubs are playing back. They've turned it around after their 5-game losing streak, swept the Cardinals, being in Wrigley, San Diego coming cross country. Let's go with the Cubs.
Yeah, I'll go opposite with you on this one. I'm gonna go Padres. I I don't know. I think the Padres offense is probably a little better than Chicago's, and I mean they're not going to be intimidated coming out east to Chicago. So, and I don't want us all to be the same. So I'll go San Diego on that one.
Okay.
The Redlegs and the Dodgers.
The juggernaut Cincinnati Redlegs offense against Shohei Ohtani and Imanaga and that Dodgers lineup. Let's go with the Los Angeles Dodgers are just going to sweep the Reds. Let's all be honest here. It's not even going to be that close. The Reds offense is absolutely terrible. They do have Hunter Green pitching, so that gives me a little bit of a ray of hope. But I just don't see how the Reds offense is going to do anything out in LA. They've already been swept out there in a 3-game series earlier this year. But I just don't see how they're going to do anything.
No, I mean they're up against it, but I don't think anybody expected them to be in the postseason this year. So, I mean, you don't want a moral victory if you go in and you lose 2-0 and you're done in 2 games. I mean, they'd like to get a win in the postseason for the first time since 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, during the COVID year, they didn't win a game. I don't know. The Dodgers are kind of showing a little bit of regression, but have they regressed enough to where a Reds offense that has struggled for the most part is going to be able to win that series? I don't know. I mean, Hunter Green would have to. You got to win that first game to have a chance, obviously, and you got to figure out a way to win one of the next 2. I don't know, but I think you got to go Dodgers.
It would not surprise me if the Reds don't even score a run. They get swept in the 2 games. They don't score a run. And Hunter Green can be lights out and pitch, a complete game. If he gives up 1 run, can the Reds even score a run to get that win? So I don't know. I just don't have any faith in the Reds offense, but maybe they'll get lucky.
Did they score a run in 2020 when they're in the playoffs?
I don't think they did. After that,
I don't think they did.
13, what was it, a 13-inning marathon with your Braves?
Yeah, it was 1-0, and then they didn't score in game 2.
No, we did not.
So they haven't scored a postseason run since 2013.
No, thanks, Nick.
I think
we played the Pirates in that wild card when Johnny Cueto dropped the ball. I think we scored a run in that.
But that was the play-in. Was that the wild card or was it the play-in?
That's back when the wild card had they had 2 wild card teams and
the 1-game series.
1-game series. Yeah.
Yeah, you play 162 to play 1. And if you're up 7 games over the next wild card, congratulations, they win this game, they move up 8 games.
Yep. That's how it worked.
The stupidity of the 1-game wild card.
Yep. It didn't last very long.
So, I don't think we need to go into the whole thing. We'll kind of go into that later, but at least wanted to go through the wild card. But baseball postseason, I mean, it's one of the better postseasons.
It gets wild. Yeah. I mean, you have four games coming up on Tuesday. I love a good daytime baseball, Crowds are always hyped, sellout crowds, waving towels, so It looks like awesome atmospheres all over the country. I'm excited to get it going on Tuesday.
You know what, like, gets me really excited about afternoon postseason baseball? Because it just throws you back to when you were a kid and you get home and you get off the bus at, what, around 4 o'clock, and you know there's gonna be a game on, and that just gives you a different feel that whole day at school because as soon as I get home, I get to watch this game, and it just kinda reminds you of that a little bit.
No, Nick, that just happened to you because you grew up as a kid in the mid '90s when the Atlanta Braves were playing at 4 o'clock on a weekday. So
Well, I'm not talking about my team specifically, I'm just talking about postseason games in
I
general.
mean, I enjoy postseason baseball, but when you had the luxury of being an Atlanta Braves fan your whole life and the Atlanta Braves being great during your prime, youth years, it's probably a little more exciting for you than it was for me.
Well, I'm not saying that that's not true, but I am just saying baseball as a whole. I enjoy the 4 o'clock games. It reminds me of being a kiddo, and I just there's not enough day baseball anymore, and they bring it back in the postseason, and I like that aspect of it. And we've talked a lot about home run balls,
We have, and not a
and
lot of things about the home run balls have not been great.
we're 10 episodes in. I think we've maybe half the episodes we've talked about somebody's home run ball. We talked about Philly Karen. We talked about Mike Trout.
Yeah.
We got a new one.
Oh, another
We
home
got a
run
new
ball
one.
story. Let's hear this one.
Ollie hits
Yes.
his 60th home run.
Yep.
Dude catches it.
Yep.
No crazy lady comes and tries to take it from him.
Thank God. That's good news. We're off to a good start. What's he
But
doing with the
we
ball?
talked we talked about what we would do if we got the ball, and I mean, it's an opportunity to make some cash, right?
I mean, I'm thinking a 60th home run ball from Cal Raleigh, who's already set multiple records, with the switch hitting record and, a catching record and being the Mariners all-time home run. I'm assuming that ball is probably worth a decent amount of money.
Yeah, you said it. The most ever by switch hitter, the most ever by catcher in a single season.
Ninth most all-time of anybody.
Aaron Judge's, I looked it up, his 62nd homer 3 years ago went for 1.5 million.
That's when he set the AL record, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're looking I don't think you're not getting maybe at least a third of that maybe?
Yeah.
500,000
I would say a couple hundred
between
thousand. Yeah.
so I guess we've kind of buried the lead here. The dude catches the ball and immediately sees little buddy in front of him and gives it to a kid.
That's the kind of stuff that I'm here for. That's what grown adults should be doing. Now, 60th home run ball, maybe I pocket that one, but good on that dude giving up $500,000 to make a kid happy. I hope little Johnny has a smile on his face when he went home that night.
So they asked him about it because obviously this is such a incredibly kind gesture, right?
Yeah.
It's a 60th home run ball, and he said he was just kind of lost in the moment, saw this kid, and he just handed it to him. What are the chances that he had no idea that this was such an historic baseball?
I'm gonna say he probably did not realize what he just did. Because if I'm him, and I'm sure he's feeling the same way as, man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But he's having a little second, a little bit of a little regret there, a little second guessing.
I don't know if he is. If he is, he hasn't let that be seen. Cal Raleigh did bring him and his family onto the field, gave him a signed bat, gave his kids a couple signed baseballs. But I just think there's a really good chance that this guy had no idea that this was Cal Raleigh's 60th home run ball. And I mean, once you give it to a kid,
You're not
you
getting it
can't
back.
be like, you're not getting it back.
Not getting it back.
And you also can't be like, damn, I didn't even realize what that was. I wouldn't have gave it to him, because it's already happened.
But
So
also, you get this home run ball, right? And as you said, he probably doesn't realize, what this home run actually means. Gives it to a kid to make this kid happy, like as you should as a grown adult. What do you think little Johnny's gonna do with that home run ball when he gets home?
well, the
He's
little
putting that
Johnny's
thing
already
on
gave it.
eBay. He ain't keeping that thing. That's paying for
Little Johnny,
that's paying for his
little,
future house. That's paying for his new car when he turns 16. Like that's paying for everything. Little Johnny doesn't care about that ball. He sees dollar signs. And his mom and dad are probably seeing dollar signs as well. So you think as the other guy, you're making this kid's day, putting a little smile on his face, like, oh, this is cute. Yeah, little Johnny's putting that thing back on eBay for $500,000.
If I'm a little Johnny, yeah, you're right. That's exactly what I'm doing. And we talked about this a couple shows ago. I'm getting you in front of me. I'm getting somebody else behind me, and we're getting the heck out of Dodge. We're getting home, and we're getting home with that baseball.
Yep.
This little Johnny did not do that. He gave it to Cal Raleigh.
Oh, he did. I didn't know that
Mhm.
part. Well, that's good for little Johnny.
Yeah, and I think he probably got a couple signed bats as well. So, a lot of signed bats for this baseball, but I don't think that gets close to the $500,000 that this ball maybe could have got in the open market.
No, I think that was like the kid made a mistake on that one, but I don't know if he's 7 years. How old, do we know how old this kid was?
I don't know if they said exactly, but he looked like he was probably like 7 or 8.
Little 7. You know, for a 7 or 8 year old kid when really money doesn't really mean a thing to you at that age. You know, meeting Cal Raleigh and getting to do cool things, you know, behind the scenes is probably something that's more important to you than money when it comes to that age.
I love you being sentimental, and I really want to believe what you said is true. $500,000 can do a lot of things.
You think a seven? You know what do you think a 7-year-old thinks about $500,000? Do you think
I don't think a 7-year-old thinks anything about $500,000,
mom and dad
but
do?
I know
I know mom and dad do.
as he gets older, that $500,000 can do a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's 7 years old, and he's gonna be like, "Man, I met Kyle Raleigh when I was 7 years old," but he also could be paying for his college and his first house or a down payment on his first house and could be doing a lot of things.
Hopefully, when Cal Raleigh signs his contract extension for $400 million here, whenever that comes up, he thinks a little Johnny maybe drops him a couple cash here on the side.
No hitters this year,
Nope, no.
but it was the season of the caught home run ball, and what do people do with it?
That's
And we gotta thank
that
Philly Karen for
is what 2025 will be remembered for: the home run ball and what to do with it. And Philly skunk hair Karen. Uh,
Philly's gonna like,
Is there a
how many like, we're getting close to Halloween. How many people are gonna dress as Philly skunk hair Karen?
Oh, I guarantee you, if you go to Spirit, all the many Spirit Halloween shops that are going to be popping up in all the abandoned warehouses and buildings across the country here in the next month, you'll probably find a Phillies Karen costume probably already made in some of these places. There will definitely be a handful, probably mostly in Philadelphia, but she's definitely going to become a Halloween costume. And speaking of her, has there been an update on Philly Karen? Has she been found out? Who is she? What she does? Spoke publicly at all about anything?
What is this look? Is this extra? Like, what show? What are we doing here?
I just
Like,
want
I
an
don't
update.
know what's going on with Philly Karen.
I mean,
Like,
it's
I
like,
haven't done any
you can't just forget
investigative.
about it. Like
Look,
she's been made into this laughing stock of America. Like, has she come out and told any kind of her side of the story? Like, where's she been?
like I was getting ready to follow up on the Halloween costume and had a good comment to make about that, and now we're wondering what Philly Karen had for dinner last night.
I don't-
Like, where did this come from?
I mean, if I just need to know. I need to know. Like, if you, Nick Evans, are made into the laughing joke of America, don't you want to defend yourself?
I mean, how do you defend yourself? You just walked up to a dude, demanded the baseball, made a kid cry, and then walked away
I
with it
don't
and showed
know.
zero remorse at all.
You try to come up with something. I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Philly Karen's been up to. I don't know if she's been back to work. I guess, do we need to put somebody on this case?
We need to put somebody on this case. I need to know who she is and what she's doing.
But so when you go to Spirit of Halloween
Yep.
to get your Philly Karen costume,
Mm-hmm.
you know it's not going to say Philly's Karen because they ain't going to pay for the copyrights.
No, of course not.
So, like, all the costumes that they have in there are just reject names.
It's gonna say baseball
So
Karen is what
it'll say like crazy baseball fan
it'll
or
say.
crazy
Baseball.
skunk hair baseball fan.
Yeah, it'll say
Yeah,
baseball Karen or something like that. Should I
yeah.
should I check it out when I go to the Spirit Halloween?
I
Should I
honestly,
dress up?
we need to research this and see if it exists, and if it doesn't, we need to get it in production real quick
I mean,
because I think there's a market for it.
maybe I'll buy the Phillies Karen costume and wear it to the Bruce and Shirley Evans Halloween party.
Yeah, we're bringing it back.
I can't wait.
The peeps Halloween party, making a
The epic Halloween.
return after it may be 15 years.
I'm so glad.
It may be 15 years. So we don't have a theme yet. We've had a lot of themes in the past. We did Toy Story, we did Batman, we did Addams Family, we did wrestling. We've had a lot of good themes, so we got to figure out what the theme's going to be this year.
I mean, if it's any kind of villains theme, Philly Carrion will fit in with that.
Always comes back full circle to Philly's Carrot. We know who you're dressing up as this Halloween.
Got it. Looking forward to playoff baseball Tuesday. And Bengals tomorrow.
Yeah, let's just hope the Bengals can get a dub, get 3-1, get tied for first in the AFC North. And I mean, you talked about it. Nobody knows what's going to happen in this crazy NFL. So as down as we were on the Bengals last week, maybe there's a way that we can be that high this week.
Yep. Also, before we wrap it up, no hat today. Got to show off the haircut. Give a shout.
You almost forgot again.
Give a shout out to our girl Tammy Gregory for hooking us up, looking fresh. You're probably wearing a hat because you do need to go get your haircut. Go see her.
I'm going tomorrow.
You need it.
I'm going tomorrow.
But always hooks us up. Always does a great job. Go see her at the Great Clips in Fern Creek.
Is this a paid sponsorship?
Yeah. Should be.
No, but definitely go see Tammy. I mean, dude, how long has she been cutting her hair?
I mean, I've been going to her now for 14 years.
Yeah.
So
I'm not that long, but it's close. But I mean, she's a big reason why we're doing this. She thought we were funny and we should do a pod. So
she probably is not correct in that, but we took her advice anyway.
Yeah, we're definitely not funny. We don't know much about sports here. I don't know what the heck we're doing. We're just rambling.
Yeah, that is true.
But I was like, some of our YouTube shorts are getting like 1,000 views. We're moving up a little bit.
We're gonna be famous.
It's kind of scary. 1,000 people have watched the video of, yeah. But all right, enough rambling at the end. We'll be back on Wednesday to kind of preview the weekend. For the Philly Karen lover Neil, I'm Nick. You've been listening to the Height Differential, powered by Griddly.
Give it to me.
At Griddly, we believe grit isn't just a word, it's a way of life. It's perseverance, resilience, courage, passion, and strength. That's why our wallets and winning bands are built to last, just like you. Right now, honor your grit and save 25% with promo code HD at checkout. Backed for life. That's the Griddly guarantee. Griddly, embrace your grit.